Let's talk about some of the advisory board best practices. And again, this is high level. We'll drill down into all of these items one by one as we move on. Number one, it's not sales focused. As a rule of thumb, we don't like salespeople in the meeting. We don't like salespeople in the meetings. Sometimes you have senior executives, right? Senior vice president, chief sales officer. These people are, it's a different level. They understand that they are not there to sell or to pitch or to get a PO from the customers right at the meeting. But in general, when people within your organization tell you, oh, we need the salespeople in there, they know the customers, these are their customers, try to resist this urge to get the salespeople in there. Just changes the dynamics and the vibe of the entire meeting. An advisory board is not a sales meeting. Okay? Number two, we talked about it. It's not an event. It's a continuous program. Number three, instead of having some loose rules of engagement, let's start, we started an advisory board. Why don't you join a well-defined charter with very clear responsibilities? And right after this section, we'll talk about how do you create a charter. And the charter is very specific in terms of what are the responsibilities that you expect the members to have and what are your responsibilities in that process. If you have a good, effective charter, this is like the blueprint for building a house that you're trying to build. If you don't have an effective charter, it's much more problematic to make any changes to the advisory board. Seats are filled based on who's familiar versus who needs to be there. Instead of having kind of an open invitation, structured every 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. You rotate members. We believe in bringing in, based on almost like the GE model, 10 to 20% of new members each and every meeting. Keep it fresh, keep new ideas flowing. You have a core of members that go from one meeting to the other, but 10 to 20% keep changing, keep rotating. It's not the same members every time. We talked about how it shouldn't be a one-way presentation, but strategic and operational dialogue. This is a very important point. Instead of having a mile-wide, inch-deep type of a discussion or session, sometimes you see companies try to do 10 agenda items or sessions in a day or in a day and a half. Each session is 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Focus on 3 or 4 hard-hitting topics and just do that. Don't try to do 10 or 15 different things. Focus on the most important items or topics and drill down on them for a long time during the session. I think that the best way to solve it is create the agenda with the members. And we'll talk about the process of working through a discussion guide that has, the discussion guide itself is a piece of strategic document. It could be product, it could be strategy, whatever the case might be. And it has about 6 topics that are carefully selected by you and the organization as the most important topics. And out of that 6, you can get to 3 or 4. So you need to control the process. You need to control that funnel of ideas. And hey, I have to present this new platform. I have to present this new software. Give me 30 minutes here, give me 30 minutes there. We've all seen that. But if you do it with the members and you are able to get to 3 or 4 topics and that's it, you tell everyone, hey, that's what the members want to talk about. And that's what we agreed on internally, that these are the most important topics for the company. Many times we have a rule that we try to instill with the companies we work with. No session is less than 2 hours. It's difficult because you know what? You get the resistance sometimes from the top executives. No way, we can't do that, so we back out. But if you have a session that is 2 hours, and each session is 2 hours, think about it. Let's say you have 15 members or 18 members, right? And each person is going to speak for a couple minutes, right? 4 or 5 minutes on one particular topic. Before you know it, that's 1 hour. And they only spoke about it once, right? And none of your executives was able to pitch in, or none of your product people or salespeople. We will address that. We have boards where we have AT&T and Verizon on the same board. I don't think you can imagine a bigger competition than that. Exactly. But if you talk about things that happen in the industry, such as SDN and NFV data centers, these are things that actually impact the entire industry, or regulation, the regulatory environment, or lack of talent. They influence AT&T and Verizon together. So you just need to bring the conversation up. You can't stay in that level. We'll talk about that. Getting the right agenda is tough. It's challenging, and to be able to actually engage with the members through, let's say, 95% of the time, it's a challenge.